now a fishing legend in his own mind, Rick Jordan.
Top of the morning. Beautiful day. Woo-hoo. A little chilly, but the sunshine feels good. Although the frost tonight probably won't.
That's what blankets are for.
Right. We're going to have our frenzy today with the usual suspects, but we're also going to add a guy who's up on Lake Vermilion, runs a resort up that way. Lake Vermilion is one of the most interesting lakes I think you can drive to easily from the Twin Ports. Russ Francisco kicks off the frenzy. Good morning, Russell.
Good morning. How are you?
Excellent. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Wonderful weather.
Oh, boy, this is great. A little frosty tonight. Do we have to do anything to the boat or anything at this weather?
No, it's not going to be that cold.
Yeah.
Nah, not yet.
I have left my boat out with water. Where was it? Somewhere in the, what do you call that? The transom.
Yeah.
It was expensive.
Yeah, if you leave water and it cracks things.
Yeah, it expands.
Yeah. It can do that.
But
I was looking. Most areas around here are going to be 39, 37. It doesn't look like we're going to get below freezing in most areas. Wisconsin, down by Gordon, could be places like that. But around here, I don't think so. Next to Lake Superior, of course, we won't.
No. It probably won't even freeze.
Right.
How's fishing been? What have you guys heard over there, Marine General?
Pretty good. Inland fishing has been good. If out in the big lake, it's just fine. You got to go a little deeper. You got to know what you're doing. We saw a lot of downriggers this week because people are chasing fish. Mm-hmm. So that's been good. But inland lakes, nice-sized crappies, big northerns. My goodness, this has been a year for big northerns. And so that's been sort of fun. Lots of people talking in the store catching 36, 40 inches, of northerns of their lifetime. So that's been sort of fun. Walleye fishing's been decent. The presentation's a little different, but it's been decent. So I think people are catching fish. I haven't heard anybody really getting skunked. Some of the big lakes that you would normally think up north that would be really good for fishing are if you know what you're doing, but they're not for people that don't know what they're doing. So
yeah.
It'd be a good idea if you're going up to Lake of the Woods or something like that right now to go with somebody or find out how they're fishing them.
I caught on opening weekend years ago. I caught a northern that was so big. The picture I've got, people say, "Oh, a muskie."
Yeah.
So
yeah, isn't that nice?
Oh, it was nice. A minnow, a jig and a minnow, a yellow jig and a minnow.
Yep.
Unbelievable. So, we start to getting our boat ready for winter. What's the number one tip from Russ Francisco to make sure that everything works out next spring?
The first thing you do, and you start doing that pretty quick now, especially this is the time of year people go hunting and all kinds of things. They never know when the last time they're going to be out in their fishing boat is.
Yeah.
So the very first thing you do is stabilize the fuel every time you fill. Hands down. Same with your lawnmowers, everything. Just every time you fill them up, stabilize the fuel. So if you happen to just quit and you have a half a tank left, at least the fuel is stabilized. So that's the number one thing. And then we'll get into, draining lower units and changing oil and stuff like that. But this time of the year, because we're still out fishing, the weather's much nicer than we thought it was going to be. Mm-hmm. And it looks like for the next 10 days it's going to continue to do that. Every time you fill up, stabilize that fuel. Just should be automatic. It's not that expensive. It's 1 ounce to 5 gallons. I mean, you can buy a 16-ounce bottle and it'll get you through next year easy. And for $20, it'll make your motor run a lot better in the spring.
What brand do you suggest?
Everybody's catching up. So Starbright makes a really good thing. Mm-hmm. Startron is where they're hanging their hat now, and we stock that. Mercury has theirs. We stock that. We've got all kinds. Seafoam's making one now.
Yeah.
And we stock that. Everybody's making stabilizer. The thing to do when you read the stabilizer bottle, make sure it says corrosion inhibitors. Make sure it's got that fogging stuff built into it, and you don't have to fog the motors and everything's coated, So, and it says it right on the bottle, and a lot of times the manufacturers out of the marine industry know it's important, so it's big print. The guys that are from the automotive industry that are jumping on it didn't know it, and it's in small print. But just read and make sure it has the inhibitors in it, and that's all you got to do. They don't have to fog the motor. You just keep running it, and when you're done, shut it off and put it away.
Key there is run it. Rookies might just pour it in and then put the boat in the garage. You got to get it into the motor.
Yeah, so you can stabilize the fuel, but unless you run the motor parts don't get coated, right? So that's a good point, and so that's a good thing. So I'm going to fuel all my boats up this weekend, and I'm going to stabilize the fuel, and I'm going to try because I got to start going to shows and stuff, so we're going to be really busy. But I'm going to try and sneak out and fish a couple hours here or there, and I know I'll never use all that fuel, so I'll be ready to go.
Yeah. All right, your hours at Marine General.
Open 9 to 6 Monday through Saturday, 9 to 3 on Sunday, marinegeneral.com all the time. Just a point of information, all those sales are running on kayaks and all that kind of stuff. We're going to keep running them another week because the weather's so nice. Yeah. If you want to save some money, this is the time to do it.
This is a time for kayaking, too, on a nice calm day. It's beautiful.
Oh, yeah, my goodness, it's beautiful.
All right. Thanks, Russ.
Thanks, buddy.
We'll be right back.
9:22, 49 at the airport. It is 47 Superior, 57 downtown. Once again, here's Rick.
And that's above zero.
Yes. Yes, thank you for putting that out.
Yeah, well, keep things straight here. In a little while, we'll be really needing
won't be long, I suppose.
Pat Kukl, top of the morning to you.
And you also, what a beautiful September we've been having.
It sure is, and I've heard stories that say the next couple of weeks could be very mild weather.
I know. It's just been a great September. I'm liking it. Everybody's liking it.
Yeah.
Get out in the woods, get shooting. And the big shoot is the 7th, at the annual shoot that they have up at Burt's, Old Vermilion.
Oh, right.
Yes, and everybody. One thing... Well, I like anything, where everything comes together. Is they have people participating that aren't normally, trap shooters, sporting clay shooters, and everybody gets involved on a different level, and it's really great. So well organized, and so much thought goes into it. So. Every year it amazes me even more.
Well, yeah, young Bert, he's a clever kid.
Oh yeah, he is, and it's just good. It's just one of those things in our world of fish hunting. All the organizational groups, all the volunteers. I was just talking yesterday. Nobody, I shouldn't say no one knows, but a lot of people don't understand that volunteers make the world work.
Yeah, they really, you're right.
Yeah, they do. Yeah. And there's so much of it. I want to say especially in our area, but what do I know? It's probably everywhere, but I'm always impressed by it. Always impressed by it. So that's good.
Okay, well, what's new at your store, Superior Shore Supply?
We're waiting for our semi-safes to come in. We were getting a little low, and so that should be here sometime today. Some different sizes and different budget things, and so we're waiting for that, which is good. And we've got every day now is, I want to say, getting more fun, but it is with the people coming in. We're getting the shotgunners. We still got the young ones coming in. The trap. There is a fall trap. Excuse me. That's almost Superior Trap Club has, and I think Hawthorne too, and then the youth have a fall trap, a short season. So this is a month where there's a whole bunch of stuff going on, and it's all good.
And what ages for that?
Well, you can. I think, and you know what? I don't know.
Okay,
that's a high school trap.
Oh, well.
So yeah.
That could be 7th grade up.
Well, this is the thing. I'm old, in our high school.
I started high school in 10th grade.
Exactly. Everybody's version. I got to rethink things all the time here, but it's all good. We have a good supply of ammunition and again new firearms. I think I might have mentioned this last week. We have the new rifle from Franke. It's not new, but it's kind of new. Momentum, and that's always Franke's division of Benelli. Mm-hmm. And it's designed with a lot of bells and whistles on that make it an ergonomically nice rifle to shoot. A lot of times people don't consider that with rifles. They think shotgun fitting. Rifles too. You can sometimes you have to raise the comb on that rifle to get in line with your optic, and you have to pay attention to things like the throw of the bolt, and they've done that, and they've done a good job, and then they put a $150 rebate on top of that. So if you're just curious, you can come in and take a look at that. They did a nice job on it, we think. There's a lot of new, Bergera's outstanding and rifle that they used to make barrels, and now they said, well, heck, we can make the whole rifle. And they have, and they've done it well.
Wooden stocks?
Bergera, just about everything is synthetic.
Okay.
Yeah. For a couple of different reasons, and they're all good reasons. People still maybe like the tradition of wood, but wood is heavy, and we've definitely gotten away from that, especially the hunters out west, or if you do any walking at all. A half a pound doesn't sound like much until the end of the day, and then it's a ton. So, and the bumps and bruises that you get with a wood gun. We still have people that like wood, and that's fine. I do too. It's nice.
Battle scars.
The synthetic has definitely taken over.
Okay. What are your hours for Superior Shooter Supply?
We are open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 5, and we're absolutely here to help. If you have any questions, give us a call or come in, and we will do our best to help you out.
Very good. Thank you. Pat Kukl, Superior Shooter Supply. See you next week. We've got a special guest we're going to try and squeeze in here. Runs a resort up on Lake Vermilion. We'll take a break. And Bruce, you've got to find this guy.
I'm going to do my level best to find this gentleman, and we'll put him on the radio next. It's 9:27.
The Fishing Frenzy with Rick Jordan.
9:28, the Friday Frenzy continues. Once again, here's Rick.
So one of the nifty lakes around northern Minnesota is Lake Vermilion. We got a lot of them, but Lake Vermilion certainly is a unique lake. And I talked to my buddy Steve Young up there. He's got a cabin. And I said, hey, why don't you come on the air and we'll talk about Lake Vermilion. He said, no, I'm afraid. So he said, call Ed. So we called Ed at Vermilion Dam Lodge. Good morning, Ed.
Hey, good morning.
How do we pronounce your last name?
Tosk.
Just like it's written.
Imagine that.
Appreciate it. Thanks for joining us down here in Duluth.
Sure.
I think Lake Vermilion is an amazing lake. What sets it off among Minnesota lakes?
Well, I think for starters, it's a Canadian shield lake. So, the structure we have here is you have a lot of the granite rock, reefs, boulders. I mean, good weed lines in the lake. It's a long lake. Lake it's like 38 miles in length. It's got a lot of bays. So, any given time you can find good areas to fish and get out of the wind if you need to. Pretty easy to navigate on. We have a local lake association that works with the sheriff's department to mark some of the main navigation areas. So for newcomers to the lake, it's easy to get around, and really diverse fishery. I mean, we've got everything here except for lake trout.
I did learn years and years ago, if you see a buoy, avoid it. That's about right. Buoy means rocks.
Yes, that's right. Yeah. And today too, I think, Rick, most of the boats are equipped with GPS and the map systems. So, those maps are updated with all the hazard buoys. So if you're brand new to the lake and you've got the map system in your GPS and in your graph, you should have no problem.
Yep.
As many of these lakes.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yep. I couldn't navigate my backyard without a GPS sometimes, Ed.
Yeah.
And we have some places marked all the way from the Indian Casino out to Ludlow's that are our spots.
Sure.
Thank you, GPS. But there's also a dam on the lake. A lot of people don't realize that, and that's hence the name of your resort.
Right, and the dam is essentially, when you come to the dam, it's like a spillway, but it is the only outlet of Lake Vermilion. One of the main inlets is the Pike River on the east end of the lake, and there's several other, like Black Bay has water flowing into Vermilion, but everything exits right here next to us, and again, it's like a spillway. It's about a 30-foot drop in elevation over 800 feet of shoreline, so it's kind of like a whitewater rapids area, and then that forms the Vermilion River, and that runs 42 miles north up to Crane Lake, which is essentially on the Canadian border.
Oh, really? Huh.
Yeah.
I didn't realize it went that far. But this, what's the lake that comes in from the east side?
The Pike River.
Pike River.
Pike River is the main feed on the east end of the lake, yeah.
Is that fishable?
Yeah, it is. There's actually a really nice resort back at Pike Bay Lodge. Is tucked away up in that area. And the DNR has their fisheries building down there in spring. It's a major spawning area for walleyes, so they do all their all their egg they take out of there in spring.
Ooh, that sounds like a real good place to fish.
Well, in spring, actually, a good friend of mine owns Pike Bay Lodge, and he does really well with spring reservations because it is like post spawn. Those fish are in close proximity to that area. And his guests do real well in the walleyes.
The Governor's Fishing Opener was held there years ago. You were probably involved in that. But I believe the governor was pretty much wowed by what he caught.
Yeah, we've had the Governor's Opener a couple of times, and I remember each time was pretty successful.
Mm-hmm.
Everything really depends on spring. When the ice goes out, how long after the walleyes have spawned, and it really determines how that opening fishing is going to go.
How deep is the lake in its deepest spot?
Yeah, the deepest part of Vermilion is on the east end near Spider Island. It's like 73 feet.
I didn't realize it.
Now the west end. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was going to be that deep.
Yeah, now most of the lake, like if you take this western basin you mentioned, like fishing down near Ludlow's, that area, this Niles Big area averages probably 30 feet. And what's interesting is the lake really doesn't establish a thermocline. It's such a windswept lake. And, the DNR has told us, our local biologists have told us that there are times, specific times, like in summer, like some of the deeper basins on the far west and like Head Lakes and some parts of on the east end of the lake where they have established, they've seen a thermocline. For the most part, there's not a thermocline. So your oxygen levels and stuff are pretty consistent throughout the whole season. It's not like you're going to, most lakes, they have thermoclines. If you're fishing too deep, you're down below that oxygen level where the fish are not going to be. So, yeah.
Huh. I didn't realize that, and I thought it was like a common mandatory thing that a lake had to have a thermocline, but obviously not.
Yep. Vermilion doesn't.
So your place is called Vermilion Dam Lodge?
Yeah.
How long have you been there?
This is the oldest resort on Lake Vermilion. This goes back to, it was established actually in 1913. And just prior to that, this location was a logging camp at one time that was converted into was considered the first lodge. And the name of it at that time was Hunter's Lodge when they established it. And people would actually get here by canoe. They'd go as far as Oak Narrows and then canoe in. I think there was a steamboat or something that ran to Oak Narrows, but then they would canoe in. And I've got some of the old brochures. It's really interesting. But over the years, this is one of the oldest, the oldest one on the lake. But it's, there's over the years, there's been, a variety of owners. I've been here. This is my 27th year with the resort. But there's a lot of history to this location.
Yeah, it's an interesting place. I have motored over there a couple of times for a beverage.
Yeah.
And that falls did not scare me, but it did have my respect.
Yeah, now this year we had one of the highest water levels I've ever seen with all that rain in June.
Yeah.
And it got to a point where the dam or the rapids would be considered dangerous if you try to walk out into them. On any given year by midsummer, like we had a lot of families in summer, the kids kind of have a ball. They walk on top of the dam.
Yeah.
The top of the dam is actually concrete. It's fixed. There's no control on it. But you could walk out on top of the dam. It's kind of a unique spot because there's good current there with a lot of rocks. There's always smallmouth action. I actually have people with fly rods that just really enjoy that. You stand right in the rapids and you catch smallies.
Wow, fun. How do we reach you? This is sounding like an ad now, but what this is a payback to thank him for being on the radio. What's your phone number?
Oh, yeah. Oh, if they want to get a hold of us, they can just do a Google search for Vermilion Dam Lodge, or probably the easiest, or our website is www.vdl.com. Real simple.
All right. Great to talk with you, and thank Steve for hooking us up together.
Okay, Rick.
See ya.
Thank you. Okay.
Bruce, we've got to take a break, and then we'll hook up with Johnny Charlstrom.
The Fishing Frenzy with Rick Jordan.
9:38. We have prevailing sunshine on this Friday morning. 53 now at the airport, 49 Superior, up to 57 downtown. We go back to Rick Jordan.
And Johnny Charlstrom. Top of the morning, John.
Good morning.
First question, and you get this a lot. What is that yellow slime on Fish Lake?
The yellow slime?
Slime. Icky stuff.
Maybe the lake's starting to turn over.
It's time, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, when they got you get that stuff on the bottom starting to come up to the top, I can imagine this a bit slimy.
A caller just said...
Either that or an algae bloom.
Algae bloom. I lived on lakes that did that. It also turns off the fishing.
A lot of times when the lakes turn, you get a couple of slow days. And I got to imagine their whole world kind of gets a little shook up, and then maybe that kind of slows down the bite.
Yeah, it's kind of like a grocery store that was a block away, moved and then shut down.
Yeah. I got to imagine the bait are in different areas, and they're probably feeding. The feeding patterns got to get shook up.
Yeah, but why Fish Lake? Why not Island Lake or other lakes?
Different depths. Probably just a little different time frame for each one of these lakes.
Yeah. Well, it's not your lake, so it's not. It's hard. We got to talk to DNR about that one.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of lakes around Minnesota, Wisconsin, and maybe even Canada that turn quickly, and it's not pleasant. So other than that, what have you heard about fishing around our area?
Been getting into that kind of that fall mode, and people fishing Island Lake. Been fishing mainly fathead chubs and light pike when you can get them. Last week, the pike supply was pretty low coming off the bait truck, and of course, that's what everyone wanted, so we sold out of them. In the last few days, we've had no pike. But the good news is, truck comes today, fresh light pike, so
okay,
we should be seeing some pike here, and bait truck should be here about 11 o'clock.
All right. Oh boy, we'll be passing by there about that time. Tell them to save 6 or 10.
6 or 10 fine light pike for Rick Jordan.
I tell you, I know this is probably common sense, but I kept, I started with a dozen minnows, ended up with 6 for 3 weeks.
Oh, boy.
The fish were not biting them as rapid as I wanted, but, I found that the crawlers were doing best.
All right. Maybe that's why my crawler refrigerator keeps getting wiped out. Last week, I think all I did last week was pack crawlers, and this week all my spare time has been skinning bears.
Oh boy, I forgot about that. Wow.
Yeah. Bear season started September 1, and last year at this time, I think we were at about 2 or 3 bears, and this year, right now, I'm working on number 15. So
wow, where are they coming?
They're coming from the mainly probably a 20-mile circle of Duluth, but Probably the further ones I've seen, I had a couple come in from up the North Shore, and yesterday one came in from the Floodwood area.
Yeah, we put a sign on our garbage can. They can't read.
Yeah, no bears.
No bears, please. Wow, they're out there, and they're probably getting more bear predation this year than the last 10 or 15.
Yeah, I think the heat wave we had dried up the berry crop, and the bears have come into garbage cans, and anyone that has a license this year and a pile of donuts in the woods has got bears on it cleaning them donuts up.
What are your hours at Charleston's?
Bait shop opens up every morning at 6, archery at 9. We close them both together at 8 o'clock and 7 on Sundays.
That was one of the best lines I've heard on the Frenzy. A dozen donuts and a rifle.
There you go.
Perfect.
What could be better than that?
Well, the donuts are delicious, and bears love them, too.
Yeah.
Johnny, we got to run. Thank you.
2 donuts for me and 10 for the bear.
Yeah. See you later.
But right now, we go back to Rick Jordan, more of the Frenzy.
Vikings have a team this year?
Allegedly, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Not sure how good it'll be, but they'll have one.
Let's see. Let's talk to Dave Miller at Northwest Outlet.
Good morning, Rick. Good morning, Bruce.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody out there. And gosh, what a gorgeous day.
Beautiful day.
Your pick on the Vikings?
I'm not a sports guy at all. I'd much rather be outside doing something than inside watching TV, I got to tell you. Raking
the lawn with a headset on, listening to the Vikings, yes.
That works too, I guess. Yeah. But yeah, no. This weekend there's that big trail race up the North Shore with 100-mile, a 50-mile, and then a marathon run, and getting ready to go up and do ham duty at an aid station here all night tonight, and that's the one night of the year I get to stay up all night. But I also get to test clothes because from the sounds of it, it's going to be pretty chilly. About
a little frosty.
Yeah.
Where's your station?
Crosby Manitou State Park.
Well, you got indoor toilets there. What's the big deal?
No. Well, they got, I guess you could call an outhouse an indoor toilet.
Yes.
But, it's just a gravel turnaround and no cell phones working there or anything. But we make it the absolute best aid station on the trail. I mean, there's Christmas lights on the whole side of the parking lot. And they even go to the outhouse so people can just follow the yellow brick road, if you know what I mean.
Good for you.
But it's always a fun time, and cheering on. We're going to see, I think, about 600 runners if everybody shows up, and between the 100 and the 50 mile. So that's fun. But the weather's changing, and boy, I'll tell you, the store is changing too with getting all kinds of things out and ready. We always start with the kids stuff because they're the ones that need it first, and then the ladies, and then the guys. But trying to get all of that fall and winter stuff out and available for people now so that they can stay warm, whether they're working or playing.
Well, this is a good time to do it before the rush, so to speak.
Oh, it's been that case for a while here now, and it's like for us, we don't even have anywhere near everything in the store yet, and we still don't know whether we're going to be getting everything or not from the manufacturers. So it is, the early bird gets the worm, I guess they say, and we like to try to fit everybody and make everybody happy, and hopefully we'll be able to do it again this year because, it's the smart wool socks, it's the hunting boots, the hiking boots, the cold weather boots, that hasn't totally started yet, but the hats and mitts and gloves and everything, and then the clearance that's still going on too. So there's deals everywhere. And surprising how many people are going up to the Boundary Waters and are going out backpacking, and it really doesn't surprise me because the bug levels are down to next to nothing, and the ankle biters are back in school, and it's like
hey, I just got a message on my watch, believe it or not, that says caution tonight, possible ice or freezing weather.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to probably see some of that up there, I'm guessing. So
yeah, you are, sure.
It's all the winter stuff is packed already because I don't like being cold. And you're standing still all night long, just ringing the bell and welcoming the runners and calling in the bib numbers and doing all that stuff.
Make a fire.
Yeah, that would be good.
All right, what are your hours at Northwest Outlet in Superior?
Sure, we're open, let's see, Monday through Friday, 9 to 6, Saturday, 9 to 5:30. We're closed on Sunday, and folks, whatever you need for getting those kids back to school, for getting outdoors, having fun, for going to work, for going camping and fishing and having fun, check us out at Northwest Outlet. There's still lots of ticks out there, so make sure you do that and welcome those kids home from school. Thanks, everybody. Have a great weekend.
All right, thanks, Millsy. I don't think I've ever heard this term before. My watch tells me it's going to be freezing tonight.
It's going to be cold.
A lot of people don't understand that.
But it's going to be freezing?
No, that your watch tells you.
Well, your watch is smart.
It comes from the iPhone to the iWatch.
Right. I watch for updates or something. I don't know.
A great story in the Duluth paper the other day. Excuse me. By a guy, I think he's going to turn in his notice and retire at a young age. John Myers, about high school kids and competitive fishing. And yes, it is
nice.
It is a league effort.
Good.
That's great.
Good
right,
stuff.
Break time.
You're listening to The Fishing Frenzy with Rick Jordan.
And
hello. 9:53. Yes, Rick.
And Matt King.
That's right. He's right here.
Top of the morning, Matt. Hey, we're doing good. A caller had asked earlier, maybe you've seen this too, some of the gunk that's showing up on, well, among other lakes, Fish Lake.
Oh, the green
that
algae.
Green or yellow.
Yeah. And it's pretty common this time of the year many times. I don't know the total answer to it, what it all is or why it happens, but I see it too on Devil's Lake usually when I go out there on the opener.
Oh, yeah.
It's usually out there too. Same thing. I don't know what causes that. I don't know if you guys got the answer to that or not.
Don't, other than it's just one of those things that happens in the fall. Where I grew up, there was a pond that would get it so bad turtles could walk across the surface.
Yeah, that's not one that you'd want to go plunging into.
No, there's so much junk in that. Anyway, let's get serious here. How's fishing been? What have you heard?
It's been decent. Still a fair amount of people going out, and it's fall fishing, right? A lot of guys are starting to go towards the crappie bite again too. That's kind of common this time of the year. They'll start going after crappies and panfish again, but the walleye fishing's been pretty good too. And we talked a little bit last week about this, but some of those fish are up in the real shallow water. It's kind of weird because the water is pretty warm.
Yeah.
It's decent, and so. But the fish are up in some of those shallower areas. I'm sure chasing bait. And so no, it's been pretty good. We've had a steady amount of people in here every day, still going out. We did run out of leeches finally. Yesterday sold our last quarter pound of leeches.
Did you have a service for it? Memorial?
Yeah, we had a lot of calls, and somebody finally came in, bought the last one, so we're done with leeches for the year. But plenty of minnows, plenty of crawlers, and I just helped some guys today. They're heading up to the Boundary Waters. Set up with a lot of plastics, we got some fake, gulp jumbo leeches they grabbed, and then we got some paddle shads and things like that, some flukes and different, the plastic industry is really booming.
Yeah, it is. I can't rave about it. I haven't caught much on rubber or plastics.
Yeah, it's there's times where it works pretty good, and there's times like they're going to the Boundary Waters, so that's kind of it's harder to keep bait, right?
Yep.
So makes it easier. Last year I tried it up in Canada. It didn't work so good, versus the live bait. This year, the fish didn't mind it, and I was doing just fine on it. I only tried it one afternoon just for about 45 minutes or so, because I'm a live bait guy, as you are too.
Me too.
And, yeah, but it's an industry that it does give you some other options, and and with Canada not allowing things bait in there, it's another option there too. Fishing, they've been doing well. A lot of crawlers. We're going through a lot of crawlers, and guys are still buying some spinners too, so they're doing some trolling, some jigging, and then a lot of crappie minnows. Guys going after those panfish, like I said.
Yeah. Well, this time of year, you got to have. I don't know. If I'm not fishing live bait, I'm out boating. Yeah. So.
I like live bait too, and a lot of guys this time of the year also for walleyes will go to a bigger minnow. We saw a lot more light pike, and even some guys like the light northern, trying to catch some bigger walleyes. And that's kind of we sell quite a bit of that. It switches a little bit. We still sell our fair share of chubs, but I'd say we sell quite a bit of light pike and light northern this time of the year. Also.
Yeah. Well, what are your hours at Fisherman's Corner? I forgot to mention at the beginning. It's Fisherman's Corner.
Yeah, 7 to 7, but starting on Monday, we will be opening up at 8 a.m. So starting Monday, we're 7 to 7 through the weekend here, but Monday we'll start and we'll go 8 to 7 Monday through Saturday and 8 to 6 on Sundays. We got all kinds of stuff for the fall. In here on sale right now, Camel Blaze. We're changing that season up, so we're getting ready. I mean, it looks like a Camel Blaze Orange Fest in here. So come on up and check it out. We got everything you need, firearms, ammo, and everything stocked up for the fall. And I got a ground blind set up in here. You can see those new ground blinds that you can look right through.
Cool.
It's a full wall you can't see in, but you can see out. So I got that set up so people can look at that, and we're doing it all. So come on up and check us out.
We'll do it. Got to run right now.
Sounds good. Have a good weekend.
See you, Matt. Thank you. Fisherman's Corner up by Pike Lake, right across from the Dairy Queen. By the way, Bruce, you got to admit, I got Blaze Orange on.
You do. I can see you from a mile away.
My wife looked at me and she said, hunting season?
It's close.
Pretty close.
If you like bears, it's already underway.
I couldn't do it.
I couldn't either.
I know they're a pain in the beeswax, but I can't do it.
All right, Rick, have a good weekend.
Thanks,
Keep tight line, man.
Your home for Bulldog hockey.